calma. We got to do this together. I came on the shoulders of giants. I didn't come here on my own because I got into UCLA. I got into UCLA on an affirmative action program. And as you've heard me say, proud. Some people will say I came in through the back door. But one thing's for sure, I got out the front. Only one person has ever graduated from UCLA, gone on to become Speaker of the California Assembly and Mayor of Los Angeles. Only one. But I wasn't special. My mother graduated with a 4.0. Jaime, you knew my mama. With a 4.0 from Sacred Heart. But she was a Mexican back then. And still. So what was she? She was a secretary. That was the best you could do in the 1940s. So I say if there's no consequences, then people are going to talk like this. They're going to continue to disrespect the commitment, the service, the love for country that you demonstrated when you came. When African Americans fought for the country, knowing there still wasn't freedom at home. But they fought because they believed in the ideal. And it is incumbent on us in these times to fight for that ideal. As you have fought for our country, it is incumbent on us to stand up and say, I love America. America's been good to me. But I want America to be all that it held itself out to be with all of us. I don't want to leave some of us behind. Most of us were born and raised here. Some of us are second and third and fourth generation and beyond. But we know we have an obligation. We can't just leave a whole community of people behind who work hard, who play by the rules, who want to be a part of the fabric of this great country. So these people speak the way they do because we're not holding them accountable. We have got to hold them accountable. What you're seeing today, and it's not just on the issue of forced deportation, you're seeing an anger and a disaffection, a polarization, a frustration with the body politic that we haven't seen, a polarization that we probably haven't seen since the Civil War. And you know, I tell people, and I think some of you remember that, when I first got elected, particularly when I got elected as Speaker, but not as much when I became Mayor, everybody said, what does it mean? In fact, we remember I lost an election because there was a debate about what it meant. And I remember saying back then, you know, I grew up in the Catholic Church. I went to Catholic school my whole life. Like St. Francis, I didn't speak to St. Francis back then, but I said, I believe in the loving God. I believe that the role of the shepherd is to bring the flock in. I believe that a leader doesn't exclude us. A leader brings us all in. Black and white, Asian, Native American, Catholic, and Protestant, Muslim, and Jew, Hindu. He brings us in. She brings us in because she brings us in. Not you, right as I said. You bring us in. We need leaders that want to bring us together. When I became mayor, I tell people, 12, you what? Lost that first election. We remember those ugly ads, dark-skinned, hand selling drugs. The cucarachas are coming. We remember that election. But you know what? I came back. And I came back and I wasn't bitter. And I said to people, you all make a lot of ado about I'm the first. Get over it. There'll be more after me. I said, I want to be a mayor for everyone. I want to be a leader for all of us. I tell people 8 years after that, so 12 years after 2001, you remember, had a recession, almost went into bankruptcy, tough times. Left with about a 58% approval rating, which means roughly half the people liked me, half the people didn't. I tell people, what I'm proudest of? Not that crime went down, violent crime in LA went down 45%. Homicides went down 45%. Graduation rates went from 44% to 72%. We built more light rail than any mayor in America at that time, and more light rail during 8 years than any mayor in LA history. We reduced our dirty air by 28%. You heard of climate change, you heard of Copenhagen and Paris. #1 American city in those 8 years, #5 in the world. But you know what I tell people? I'm not proud of it. That's all stuff that people remember or not remember. I say, you know what I'm proudest of? That when I left, half the people liked me, half the people didn't. But I wasn't the Mexican mayor anymore. I was everybody's mayor. I was in Watts. I was in the West Side. I've been at the Garland Hotel in North Hollywood. The guy out there even said, hello, good to see you again. Hasn't seen me in 3 years, but I was everywhere. I was everyone's mayor. We need leaders that can bring us together. We need leaders that want to inspire us to our better angels. We need leaders that say to this great state and this great nation, we come from every corner of the earth, but there's not much difference among us. We come with hopes. We come with dreams. We come willing to work hard. We come willing to serve our country. But we come understanding, if we have to, we will fight for that opportunity, much as you have fought for that opportunity. And so here we are, another election, another time. Much has changed, much progress that we must celebrate and acknowledge, but a lot of work still to do. When I took over as mayor, I said, a 44% graduation rate. Why would the mayor get involved in that? I'll tell you what. I got tired of everybody serving me looking just like me. I knew that the only path to opportunity was the path my mother gave me, that this public school system in great country gave me, an education. I knew I had to fight to open up those schools, to set high standards for our kids. I got tired of the excuses, and I heard 1,000. Antonio, you don't understand. They're English language learners. You don't understand. They're poor. You don't understand. Their parents didn't go to college. You don't understand. They're foster kids. You don't understand. They're single kids of single parents. I'm saying, God, you're describing me. I can read and write. They can read and write. How did I get here? I had a mother that set high expectations for me. I had a mother that believed in me. I had a public school system that gave me a second chance. That's what we have to do in this great state and in this great America. And so you asked the question. In fact, virtually all of you, as you greeted me out there, as we walked in through here, asked the question, ¿Qué vas a hacer? Well, I think it's pretty clear from this speech what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. And I'll tell you, it will not be easy. I know that. I know how hard it is. In 1,100 races, since 2003 in California, you know how many times Latinos have voted? Their numbers in registration, and again, their numbers in registration on a per capita basis, the lowest of any ethnic group. By the way, among Latinos, the lowest among Latinos. And I'm not just talking about Cubans, the lowest among all. The lowest number to become citizens. the lowest among every group. So in 1,100 races, do you know how many times they voted their numbers? What do you think? I see 3, 4. That's the bad news. The good news was 3 of them were for me. And I say that because I know what the task ahead is. The task ahead is to inspire you. That the founders of this organization founded this organization to open up this great country to us, to all of us, not some of us. The GI Forum, the NAACP, the Urban League, all of those civil rights organizations were committed to the notion that a great, prosperous, beautiful America has to be America that has enough room for all of us. In addition to always saying I'm here today because there was a Civil Rights Act and a Civil Rights Movement, I also say I'm here today because there was a Voting Rights Act. We got to start voting, everybody. We got to start voting. I was able to do something that frankly hadn't been done. A Latino leader who was able to bring in African Americans in giant numbers, in majority numbers. And in fact, I left with a 58% approval rating in no small part because of Latinos and African Americans. They were kind of the biggest boosters over that time. And I was always honored, but I worked every vote anyway. No matter, I worked votes when I would walk in to rooms like this in the San Fernando Valley, put my hand out, and people say, get your hand away from me. 2001. 2001. I remember in 2001 where people would say, stand up in a town hall and say, why should I vote for you? You're not even an American. And I'd smile. I'd get my microphone, walk right up to them, and I said, what a great country we live in. Here I am, on the threshold of being your mayor. Never got angry. And we won't get angry this time. But we are going to stand up. We're going to stand up for those 11 million undocumented. We're going to stand up for the notion that they ought to have a pathway. It's not automatic, but they ought to have a pathway to citizenship. They play by the rules and they work hard and pay their taxes and, don't commit crimes. They ought to have a path. We ought to stand up for the notion that in this great state there's too much poverty. We got to invest in people again. We got to educate our kids. We got to clean up our air, and we got to fight for the notion of great, prosperous, golden state is a state where all of us can thrive. So I wanted to be here to thank you. You will hear me say the name LULAC. You will hear me talk about the NAACP. You will hear me in the course of the next 2 years speak to a great positive vision for a country that gave all of us so much. But you will also see someone who will stand up. Because I also remember, there's a group of people that don't like when we stand up. They don't like when we look them in the eyeball and say, I love my country. My country 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty. But I want that liberty too. I want to participate just like you. That isn't a bad thing. That isn't a negative thing. That isn't an angry thing. That is what has made us better. Decade after decade after decade. That is what made us who we are. That's what you fight for when you put your life on the line for us. And that's what we will have. So you will hear in the course of the next couple of years that conversation. It will be positive. It will be hopeful. It will be strong. And it will have to inspire a group of Californians who understand the state has changed. The state has gotten better in many ways. And it can get better still. As we open it up, as we honor those who want to participate, and be all that they held themselves out to be. Thank you so very much.